DC Comics has a Batman problem. Oh my gosh. You wouldn't expect this, but it is a industry not so secret that DC Comics really doesn't get read at all, except for Batman. If you go into any of the top 10s for sales for the months, you look and you see that only Batman makes it almost every single month. Sometimes they have an event or something, but that's about it. Really, they've got a big issue because none of their other titles are selling. So they try to put Batman into everything, shoehorn the character into everything. And now even writers at their own company are taking shots at DC Comics as it's circling the drain and dying. They don't see exactly what's going on and they don't look at the main problems with the company, but we'll get into that in just a second because we're not afraid to take the real shots. My name is John Delarose. I'm a #1 best-selling author and award-winning comic creator, my friends. I'd love for you to get on my Subscribe Star. It both helps us with our journalism here, keeps things going, keeps the lights on. I need new lighting. I mean, obviously here. But yeah, that's going to be expensive. But it also helps us to create our own comics. We're creating a complete alternative to DC Comics right here. I've got a bunch of books, a bunch of graphic novels. Let me just hold some up and show you real quick what you guys have helped us produce over the years. We've got Overmind, of course. We've got The Cosmic Warrior. This is one a lot of people missed. You can get this on my web store. And you can get Flying Sparks as well. So I've got a full superhero universe and more. And of course, this helps us cover the art and things like that. We really appreciate our loyal patrons who are helping us and really making us grow here. That link's in the description below, along with my web store and Amazon store, everything, because very productive over here. So let's get into the news. Here it is, Outsiders #3. Now, I was just talking with my friend who writes for Cursova Magazine. He's the editor over there. And he's like, I didn't even know an Outsiders book was out. And I'm like, well, it's not really Outsiders. It's really a black guy and a lesbian woman pretending to be the outsiders at this point. And that's what they do. And that's DC Comics' main problem, is everything they have is a diverse race replacement or a diverse lesbian replacement. And that's the only story they truly want to tell. But if you get into this, Jackson Lanzing and Collin Kelly, the two writers here, here they are. Here's a picture of them. Actually go into the fact that like nothing's really being done at DC except for Batman stories at this point. It's really poignant in one of the panels here, and where you see the two characters talking. They end up in like this Batman dimension where everyone's Batman, of course. So everything's a multiverse too. Don't forget that, right? I mean, it's obnoxious. Now, what's interesting is the Batman comic itself is in like a Batman multiverse thing also. So it's like all of these writers have no original or fresh ideas. That's part of the problem too. But our shiny black guy, who was meant to replace Batman, by the way, in a retail summit for their 5G, which eventually became Future State, Lucius Fox here, who's now called Batwing, was actually slated to become Batman and replace Batman. They wanted to do that. They wanted to do it with all their characters, of course. They were hoping to get a Miles Morales situation out of it. And that was their goal. They were going to do this. Retailers actually stood up in that meeting against Dan DiDio and said, if you do this, it's going to kill all of our sales. Batman's your one title that actually sells. Really funny at that. So here's what Lucius Fox says. Look, man, they don't want me here either. Yeah, that's right. And this is a commentary on the readers. Like, no, nobody wants this Outsiders, which is Lucius Fox and Batwoman. They want the real Outsiders back. And that's the problem with that DC's gotten a lot of these books at this point. You're wearing the signal and you're wearing the cowl. Of course, he's talking about the bat devices. And of course, somebody says it's the only way left. The idea is too deep. A virus in the bleed. This is somebody in the deal there. They're the end of all of it. Luke, dragons growing under the skin of stories until they're the only one left to tell. So that's a little too on the nose, talking about stories, of course, and being the Batman one, only one left to tell. But it is what's exactly happening at DC Comics. This is a big shot at DC Comics. That's all that's happening. Everything's getting shoehorned in that direction. It's been a disaster over the last few years because nothing else is selling because of all their identity politics that's being shoved into things. So characters are very, very easy to write. You'd think it'd be very easy to tell a Flash story or a Green Lantern story without having all the weird stuff going on in the background with all the like gay, trans, whatever. But it's all about that with these people at this point. They're not fans of the actual work. They're not actually taking care of the actual work. And so that's all that's left is Batman, because Batman's the one property since it makes money, they've not really been able to touch. Of course, they've had Tim Drake now come out as a bisexual recently, making Robin gay, which makes things really, really weird. But of course, Tim Drake's really not being used in that capacity anymore. Damian Wayne's now really the Robin character that's in all the books. And so that character is really shoehorned to the background. And of course, pushed aside because that identity politics is not going to sell. If that ends up in a main Batman book, nobody's going to like it and nobody's going to buy it. And of course, they know that. So that's what's happening at DC Comics. This is it. There's one book left. There's one story left to tell. There's nothing else that's, of course, of worth there. And they are circling the drain very, very fast. Let's see how long they last. All right. Leave a comment down below with what you think about this. Hit that like and subscribe button. Of course, get on our subscribe star. Appreciate you for being there. And we'll see you soon.